I think it's this. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start it. Let me know how the volume is. Might have to turn it down a little bit because it's loud as hell.
Augmented human C4621 has awakened.
What's up, everyone? My name is Mitchell Saltzman, and
Can we get in trouble for watching IGN stuff?
all the way from Japan,
I don't think
producer Yasunori Ogura, to talk all about Armored Core 6.
There's an article about it.
Hi there, I'm great, thank you. I'm Yasunori Ogura from Software, producer on Armored Core 6. It's great to be here.
How long has Armored Core 6 been in
voiceover.
development, and what has it been like for From Software to return to this franchise that was such a big part of the company for such a long time?
So we have been cultivating development
IGN literally could have done this
through
any
our
better way, and
experience
they just
with recent
didn't.
titles, and there were many members of staff, including Miyazaki and myself, who've wanted to make a new Armored Core game for a long time. So really, not making a new Armored Core was never really an option. It was a case of when rather than if.
That voice, okay, listen, that voice is like they got the guy with the laptop microphone to record the voiceover. My problem is, bro, isn't IGN like a company? Yo, get this guy a microphone. What the hell is this?
As to the game's direction and development, in around 2018, Miyazaki and some core members of the team began initial direction and forming the basic core concept of
core
AC6.
concept.
And after prototyping was complete, our director Yamamura took over on the project. However, as you know, we have several projects going on at the same time within the company, so we had to get an ideal allocation of resources. We had to get the right staff on board, which resulted in a slightly longer wait, but we're happy to finally bring a new ArmoredCore to our fans.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the story of Armored Core 6 and whether newcomers will be able to jump right into this entry if they haven't played any of the other ones?
New gamers.
This is a brand new story and has no direct link to previous titles.
A brand new story?
In a future where interstellar travel is commonplace, not on Earth, but on a fictional planet in a distant star system called Rubicon 3.
So it's in a star system called Rubicon 3. Also, weren't the other Armored Cores like loosely linked, not really linked? Was that like ever a confirmed thing? Because I'm pretty sure like in Armored Core 4 you play as like a what is it? The Ravens are basically in normals, right? And then you used to pilot a normal or whatever, possibly, but then now you're in a next. But like I'm trying to think, like were they ever really connected, like all the stories?
Rubicon is a devastated planet that was razed to ash in a great disaster caused by the outbreak of a mysterious new substance called coral.
Activating cerebral coral control device.
Coral. It just looks like a booster.
Which occurred half a century before the events of the game take place. At the outset of the game and the story, the player learns that coral, which was thought lost in this great disaster, has been rediscovered, and extraterrestrial corporate forces have begun an invasion race to acquire the rights to this mysterious and powerful new substance.
So everyone's trying to get the coral.
They are at conflict with the indigenous forces who are resisting their invasion on the planet Rubicon. And the player, as a lone independent mercenary and AC pilot, is thrust into this Rubicon war for coral.
Okay.
So although AC6 is a numbered title, the setting and story are completely new, and we believe it makes a great first entry into the series for newcomers and old fans alike.
So basically, there is coral on this planet, and companies or governments or whatever are like, we want the coral. And then the people there are like, ah, shit, get away. And then the other people are like, we want the coral. And everyone's fighting. Okay.
Close to Rubicon.
Sure. Of course,
So let's
always
talk
a mercenary.
little bit about Rubicon as a setting. Is there anything that's unique about the planet that will allow for kind of unique mission structures that people haven't seen in the Armored Core series previously?
Unique
there
mission
are
structures.
Two things we'd like to convey to both newcomers and old hands. I was
gonna say this isn't an open world.
Core offers two unique game experiences. First is this dynamic, three-dimensional action that can only be achieved with mechs.
This looks so
And
cool,
the
dude.
second is the ability to customize your own personal AC by combining multiple parts and decorating it to your liking with painting and decals and the like. So these player-assembled, player-controlled ACs are able to fly freely through the air and handle multiple weapons simultaneously and turn on a dime, dash in different directions at once. This makes for a dynamic and very aggressive combat style that makes full use of the three-dimensional space, and we feel that this has always been an appeal of the Armored Core series and is an appeal of the mech action genre.
For
Looking at the gameplay and stuff, it definitely does not seem as fast as Armored Core 4A. Okay, I'd say it's even below 4, even though 4 was kind of scuffed. It seemed like I really would need to play Armored Core 3 because I remember that's what a lot of people liked. It was like Armored Core 3 and Armored Core 4 are the very popular ones. I really, really, really dislike anyone who's like, oh dude, Armored Core 6, I hope it has like elemental weaknesses and like elemental parts and stuff. Nobody likes Armored Core 5, I'm sorry. And by nobody I mean me, okay? I don't like Armored Core 5, that shit just looks so stupid. Anyways, does this have a storyline? All the ACs had storylines, I think, but they're kind of like I guess the earlier ones explained it a lot better, but definitely 4 and 4A were kind of really scuffed at telling the storyline. Like it kind of 4 and 4A really sucked at telling the story. You had to like do some weird deep dive into things. I think there were even like books or whatever that you had to read to actually get the story. It kind of was kind of weird.
For die-hard Armored Core fans, what are the elements of Armored Core 6 that those hardcore fans are
I
going to find
think
appealing
rock
about this
paper
game?
scissors element stuff is doo doo.
With AC6, one area we focus
Sorry, I missed what he said. Sorry. What was the question?
Elements-
the mech action genre.
For die-hard Armored Core fans, what are the elements of Armored Core 6 that those hardcore fans are going to find appealing about this game?
With AC6, one area we focused on was to
Customization,
make
right?
sure that the customization aspect is not just about parameters going up and down and numerical values changing, but how these changes are reflected in the
I really
field
like the laser
and
sword
actions as much
looks.
as possible. In particular,
So
the
badass,
leg
dude. It
parts,
looks like he
which
stabbed him,
control
too.
The AC's movement, you might have a tank type legs that can perform drift turns, and this changes
And we did
the
see
very
like the
basic
hover legs.
behavior and traversal type of the AC. We also made sure that the behavior of weapons, such as the way they shoot, how they recoil, how their projectiles behave, we tried to make sure that this all makes a big difference in how the game feels and plays.
Okay, so my thoughts with that is like, okay, so we saw like the one where they're like hovering in the air, right? And then we saw the one where it's like tank treads, right? And then we saw the one where it's just like regular legs. Now, from what I know, the legs really didn't change much in like Armored Core 4. Maybe it changed like a little bit, but it doesn't completely change your playstyle a whole lot. And I don't know much about like the earlier Armored Cores or something like that, but I remember watching Josh Strife-Hayes' video on like Armored Core 1, and he's like, oh dude, as soon as you get the tank treads, just put them on because they're the most broken legs in the game and go ham. So if I remember correctly, the legs like affected a little bit, but it seemed like it was kind of minuscule. So maybe since this game's gonna be like maybe a little bit slower paced, I guess there's room for the tank treads to actually have a different type of playstyle, and like the dude that was hovering with the hover legs or whatever the heck, maybe that's its own thing too. So maybe they'll actually affect the mobility more than just being like, oh hey, you can fly slower in the air.
So speaking
That
a
looked
little
like a
bit about
Kojima
that
blast.
customization, Armored Core games have a bit of a reputation
Or,
for being very complex.
Assault Core or whatever
with
the heck it
many
was
stats to
called.
Consider parts of sport games.
Right? Doesn't that look like an Assault Core or
So speaking
Explosion,
a little
whatever
bit
the hell?
about that customization, Armored Core games have a bit of a reputation for being very complex with many stats to consider, parts to swap in and out. Is there anything else that you guys are planning on doing with Armored Core 6 to make it a little more approachable for newcomers who might not be used to that level of complexity?
I'm honestly not sure how complex things actually are in Armored Core once you get into it. Like, it's complex at first, so it's kind of scary, but honestly, the hardest part about Armored Core is being like, I need to carry these amounts of weapons and okay, this is the body that I'm gonna use with it, and like these are the points I'm gonna put in the gameplay trailer. It also looked like you could attack with this skinny birdie legs, like perhaps a bird of prey. It would be so cool if they make it so like every part is more distinct now, rather than just, oh, it has weight. It has weight, which affects how fast you can fly or how much boost it consumes. Like, hopefully now it actually changes the play style a little bit more. Like, I think there's like targeting and stuff like that too with certain arms. Like, really heavy arms are really slow at tracking, if I remember correctly. But I forget how. It's really hard to remember how it works, like, because you have to have your own tracking device thingy, or your memory chip or whatever the hell it is, the one that affects rocket lock-ons and like how fast it'll lock and things like that. And then on top of that, you have arms. I think it was like maneuverability or something like that, but the stats are very not clear, and whenever you look them up online, it's really hard to freaking find details about it. But other than like that small amount of things, I hope they are more impactful than just, oh look, it arm that do different thing slightly. And they yeah, I already read that with the bird legs, perhaps the bird of prey. I think that would be really cool, like the reverse legs being able to attack, or like somehow like rip armor or something like that. Me, fuck, the new players cater to my old ass. True. I don't understand what they would change about it. Maybe they would make it, maybe the distinction in making the customization easier is making it so that the parts are more distinct. Like they do have that big playstyle change. Like when you roll the tank, you're like, oh yes, it do the tank thing. When you roll the hover, oh yes, it do the hover thing, instead of it being like a very slight change, which makes it really annoying because then you have to keep looking into it. Like the minuscule stat changes and everything like that actually matter. Also, this guy's paused face feels weird, man.
As you mentioned, Armored Core has always been a game with many parameters and is a game where you can enjoy the complexity and depth it offers, but we feel it's also a game where you can enjoy simply by assembling your AC without thinking too deeply about it, and adjust the appearance to your liking and simply get out there and pilot it and take it into combat.
Honestly, I feel like in AC4 you could do that. As long as you had like all the extra points or whatever, like if you beat the missions on hard or normal or whatever, you would get extra points, and then you can spec those points into like more weight limit or something like that. You can pretty much do that. Like, you can just have whatever you want in a little bit, like with customization, without making your AC absolute trash. But if you really wanted to min-max, well, there were min-maxing options too, but it seemed like most things were viable.
That said, in regard to new players, we've taken careful steps with the onboarding and level design in the early stages of the game, so that players can deepen their understanding step by step.
Saying the early stages?
And work their way into that fun of the more complex parts. We've also prepared a training simulator where the player can learn the basics of action and assembly using sample ACs.
Wait, there's an assembly tutorial? That's pretty good. From Software usually doesn't have tutorials. But they do mean they're going to keep the complex stuff then, right? He's like, oh, because they'll get into it at first and they'll get into complex stuff later.
We've also tried to make the controls more intuitive, so that we hope that those who
more
have
intuitive
no
controls
in the series will feel free to enter and enjoy the feel of piloting their very own Armored Core.
Not gonna lie, playing 4A, my fingers hurt.
Any lessons that you guys have learned over the many years you've spent developing the Souls games that you take into the development of Armored Core 6, even though they're kind of two very different genres?
Armored Core 6 is an attempt to take both the knowledge and experience gained from the development of our previous titles and combine it with the fun of mech customization
Dark Souls of the Armored Core
series has always embraced. And in this sense, we hope to create a new mech action game that is worthy of modern From Software standards. Specifically, we're developing this game with an awareness of the things that From Software has always embraced in its other action games, such as a intricate map structure, combat design that allows players to deal with enemies by carefully observing their movements, and the ability to overcome challenging situations with ingenuity and creativity.
What does that even mean? Does that mean like if you use different types of treads or like legs or something, you'll have access to different types of like flanks and stuff depending on what armored core you make? That would be really cool if, depending on your customization, it unlock different parts of the map for you to be able to traverse. Hopefully it's not like too like overpowered or something where you need to build for that. But that would be really cool if it was like, you know, the maps were actually made for where like if you had different parts or whatever, you can access different parts of the map. It doesn't give you like a super huge advantage, but it definitely helps. That was just corporate speak. It honestly just sounded like corporate speak, dude. You're just like, map, good player creativity, fight stuff, yeah, like that honestly just was super corporate speak, like blah 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 blah. Who, what?
These are all, of course, things we've kept in mind with AC6 as well. However, as you mentioned, the basic format
The maps
and
might be the
genre
same
of
as the
Armored
old
Core
ones,
is
to be honest.
completely different from games in, for instance, the Souls lineage. So there are no aspects of the game mechanics or gameplay that can be directly observed.
You ready to climb the wall?
Wait, what? That could be directly observed?
Games in, for instance, the Souls lineage. So there are no aspects of the game mechanics or gameplay that can be directly observed.
Oh, you mean like when compared to Dark Souls,
Can you
probably?
talk a little bit about your goals with the combat design, and are there any kind of mechanics that players
makes sense,
should know
though.
about that perhaps didn't exist in previous Armored Core games?
In terms of points we focused on this time around,
Please tell
I
me
would
there's no
say
elements.
that individuality of the melee weapons is one of the key points.
Ooh,
Armored
okay.
Core is mainly
why they had the
a
stab
shooting
sword
game
before.
part, and that's exactly why we had
Be
this
cool if the
policy
melee is just
of
way better now.
having more unique melee weapons this time
Hell
around.
yeah.
So in addition to the well-known pile bunker and the cluster bomb launcher that you might have seen in the
Hell
trailer,
yeah.
there are also a variety of weapons with different animations and
The freaking
more
whip,
unconventional
dude!
characteristics, such as a chainsaw and a laser lance and things like this.
Wait, a
In the trailer,
chainsaw?
you may have also seen a part where the core is deployed by an AC to generate a shockwave.
Dude, wait, did that guy have a
Core is
pumpy? Hold on,
deployed
hold on.
by an AC.
Nice, dude, yeah. He got the freaking, what is this, chat? Which, is this like the spaz shotgun, the spaz pumpy, dude? Chainsaw is your new main, dude. The chainsaw, the laser lance, or whatever the heck it was. I hope the melee is good, because the melee in the other games is just so freaking hard to use. Like, you could use it, but it's like, they're really strong, don't get me wrong, but they all kind of play the same way. And they're like very hard to use, so which I mean, it makes sense. The spaz, I love that, dude. Just the giant mech holding a spaz, like it can't
to
get any better than
generate
that.
a shockwave.
And this thing is just like the assault armor, the Kojima explosion or whatever the heck in Armored Core 4, right? Is that not what this is? Hope they bring back the laser chainsaw for EDF 6. There's a laser chainsaw in EDF? In general? What the heck? I didn't even know there was. Oh, that'd be cool if they do have it in EDF 6 though. Your AC could cosplay chainsaw. Just name your AC chainsaw, man. Just dual chainsaws.
And the pile bunker is then used against an opponent who is reeling back from the shockwave.
Wait, so you're saying like you used your armor explosion to stun, and then you could set it up for an easy pile bunker? Is that what he just basically
And things
said?
like this. In the trailer, you may have also seen a part where the core is deployed by an AC to generate
The
a
core, yeah.
shockwave. And the pile
Yeah,
bunker
so it's a
is then
stun
used
into pile
against an
bunker.
opponent who is reeling
Oh
back
shoot, dude, that's
from
so
the
cool.
shockwave.
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. I wonder if like the core is gonna be like you sacrifice your, well, what is it called? Your energy? No, energy is like stamina. What the heck is your like your shield? The freaking barrier thing. Yeah, whatever the hell that's called. In EF 4.1, the wing diver could get a laser chainsaw. That is badass. You're tired? What's up, Nate?
This kind of building combos with
So I wonder if
multiple
it's still
weapons
like that.
aspect is an appeal of AC6's unique assembly and combat.
So they want weapons to synergize with each other more. Okay.
And we hope the players will enjoy using
Combos.
their
What the hell is this, dude? Is this a boss or
unique
something?
assembly and combat.
This isn't like an
And we hope
ultimate.
the
This has to be
players
like a
will enjoy
boss.
Using their creativity and asking themselves,
Oh yeah, it is a
what
boss. Okay.
combination of weapons can I use
Look at all those
to
missiles.
create my ideal?
What is that? A chainsaw?
Asking themselves, what combination of weapons
I didn't actually
can
watch a
use
breakdown
to
of this yet.
Create my ideal combo attacks and secure victory.
Dude
So
has
is there
grinder
any
arms.
One new thing, whether it's a mechanic or
Bullet
a mech
hell
part
boss,
or a
missile
weapon
hell.
that you're particularly proud of, and
As long
are
as there's not
excited for
Kojima
players to
missiles.
experience
Screw
in
that
Armored
shit.
Core 6? You're particularly
Wait,
proud
sorry.
of and are excited for players to experience in Armored Core 6.
Okay.
I'd like players to mostly look forward to something we touched on earlier, which is this using their ingenuity and creativity to create a combination of their own making, and a combination of the various parts and weapons at their disposal.
That doesn't sound very new, but also that probably means they're putting more of an emphasis on the parts, which could be cool, like the bird attack thing, dude. The different treads.
So, for example, they might be dashing across the battlefield while shooting ballistic weapons and letting missiles fly in every which direction. These missiles will connect with their enemy, knock them off balance, and then they'll use their assault boost to dash in with a quick burst of speed and finish with a melee strike. This kind of player-created
they all
combo
stamina
and their own
bars.
unique combination of weaponry and
Maybe not, I hope
ability
not.
will allow for this new aggressive, offensive style of AC combat, and we hope this is something that reinvigorates the series and that new and old fans alike can enjoy.
Multiplayer has always been a big part of the Armored Core
Oh,
series.
dude, the
Is there
multiplayer.
anything you can tell us about
Bet.
multiplayer in Armored Core 6?
Bet, dude, I'm playing this.
So I believe ACV was more focused on multiplayer as the last title in the
AC5,
series.
yeah.
But first of all, the main content of AC6 is positioned as single-player campaign mode, where you progress through a more traditional mission structure. There will be an online PvP mode where players can compete against each other with ACs they have built and share their AC data and emblems of their own making with other users.
I think that's
But
cool
first
though.
and foremost, the story missions in AC6 are single player only. We would like players to go in there, become the lone mercenary lifestyle, and enjoy this aspect of the game first and foremost. We do hope to share more details about the online aspect at a later date, so please stay tuned for that.
Okay, so you're gonna share more at a later date for that? For the online stuff?
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.
All right, well, that about wraps it up. Ogura-san, thank you so much for your time. Armored Core 6 Fires of
it?
Rubicon is set for release this August 25th on PS4, PS5,
Dude, that is-
Xbox, and PC.
That is like,
Thanks
what,
for watching, and for everything
3 or
else,
4
keep it
months
right
from
here
now? It's
on
so
IGN.
close, man. That shit is so close, dude. That is so close. Do you think we'll get the Elden Ring DLC before or after the release? What do you guys think for that? I'm thinking, honestly, I have no clue. I feel like August is way out, right? Like that's excuse me, that's kind of far out, huh? But that is really cool. I'm hoping that they start sharing like a little bit more about the game. Now that they're starting to share more stuff. So I don't know how the multiplayer is gonna be because you know FromSoft connection is kind of doo doo. I hope the multiplayer is really good though. Excuse me. I don't know when AC5 was made, but I'm wondering if it was made in like the, what is it? Remember when every game around that time was like, oh yeah, let's become an esports. You know what I mean? That kind of was doo doo in my opinion. So I hope like because they made it for single player, there's like more creative freedom and whatnot for people to do PvP stuff. That seems like really cool. You need to go now. You're going out with your friends. Bye. Have a good night, Sammy. Have a good time as well. Bye bye. Alright, I think we'll get back into Prey though. I don't really have like any big thoughts about it to be honest, because I'm just hyped, dude. We're gonna play all the ACs hopefully before it comes out. So I can't wait to see more news on it then. Alright. Let's switch. Switching game.